do some presentation on our brake system, because this brake system that I'm going to discuss will help you out to get your permit. So both of you guys doesn't have the permit, correct? Okay. Now, what we're going to happen is you're going to be reading chapter 2 and 3, all right? Then there's going to be 5 and 6 on that book. Now, if you're done reading that, you could go to your computer, and it says there's a test. You could challenge this test on this computer. It says General Knowledge 1, 2. It says Combination and Air Brakes. All right? Now, tomorrow, guys, I'm going to show you how we're going to be in the truck by tomorrow night. So then also I'm going to show you how to drop and hook. And then Wednesday comes, it's going to be your final test. There's a lot of reading to do, guys, all right? And then Thursday comes, you're scheduled to go to DMV to get your permit by Thursday. The latest is Friday. Do it by Friday. Because this Friday night, you're going to be out there and you're going to start driving our truck. On a bulk truck. Monday comes, you're going to be on the street with the truck and a trailer. Alright guys? That's where the fun is. Alright guys? Now, let me remind you guys, try to get your permit this week, or at least Friday. Because if you didn't get your permit, guys, you're going to miss this class. And you know what the good thing? There are only 2. I could have 20 students in big time. Alright? So it means you got 2, we have more. More hands-on or more training that we could do with you guys, alright? It sounds like it's so small group. Alright? Now before we go to that now, you could continue that later, guys, right? I'm going to be doing some air brake presentation, right? Now, here's our air brake presentation. Okay. I know that you know this. This is your truck. Okay. All right. Got it? All right. This is a truck. You know, everybody, I know both of you guys know this, but they call this a semi-truck. This is a trailer, or what they call a semi-trailer. Once this truck and trailer, they hook up together like this, it means this is your what they call the combination vehicle. And you're going to be tested with this vehicle combination. Alright? If you saw a truck on the street without a trailer, right, it was driving along, maybe he's picking up a load or something, right? It means it's bobtailing, or what they call bobtail truck. Alright? Now, this truck is a model of Freightliner truck. What we have now is an international truck. On the bottom of this truck, there's fuel tank on both sides. There's air tanks, and there's another air tanks on both sides. Our international truck, the air tank is on one side, which is on the driver's side. Now, our brakes on our truck is equipped with an air. It's not like hydraulic brakes or your vehicle. They call it hydraulic brakes. They have fluid on your brakes. Ours is air, just plain air. We're powered by air. All right. Let me start with this. All right. I need your participation. All right. I want you to read. What's your name? Anthony. Anthony. Laurent. All right. Anthony. I want you to read this for us, please.
The purpose of this presentation is to prepare you for the air brakes portion of your permit test and to aid you with required skills for the pre-trip inspection test.
Okay. Next, please.
Air brakes. Air brakes use compressed air to make the brakes work. There are 3 different types.
Okay. Yes.
Air brakes types: service brake, parking brake, emergency brake.
Okay. Now The service brake is your foot brake. It's like a car, right? It's a pressure brake. That's the same thing that we have in our truck. The parking brakes is the yellow, which is the truck also, right? And then the emergency brake is the red. Means that is your trailer brakes, right? Go ahead, next.
The service brakes. The service brake system applies and releases the brakes when you use the brake pedal during normal driving.
Okay. Go ahead now.
Oops.
Let's go down.
Oh,
Let's go down. There you go. Next, please.
The parking brake. The parking brake system applies and releases the parking brakes when you use the parking brake controller.
Okay. All right. Next, please.
the emergency brake. The emergency brake system uses parts of the service and parking brake system to stop the vehicle in the event of a brake system failure.
David. All right. Next, please.
Parts of the air brake system.
Now, these parts, I'm going to show you all these parts once we are in the yard. And I'm going to show you the, this is my molecules, right? Yes, what are they?
Air compressor governor, air storage tanks, drains, brake pedal, brake drums, shoes, and linings, supply pressure gauges, low air pressure warning, spring brakes, parking brake controllers.
All right. Next, please.
Air compressor. The air compressor pumps air into the air storage tank.
All right. Now, we have compressor in our truck. The compressor that we have in truck is as big as my head. All right? That's all we have in our truck. Okay, and next, please.
Air compressor governor. The governor controls when the air compressor will pump air into the air storage tank. When air tank pressure rises to the cutout level at 125 psi or no more than 130 psi, the governor stops the compressor from pumping air. When the tank pressure falls to the cut-in pressure, no lower than 85 psi, the governor allows the compressor to start pumping again.
Okay. Hold on. Can you go back to that again, please? Let me go to this. Now, the air compressor governor is the one that controls your compressor. Now, when you start the truck, right? When you start the truck, the compressor will start pumping air on your tanks. That's all it does. All right? But once you start the truck, once you reach the maximum pressure, which is 125 or no more than 130 psi, the governor will cut him out. It says, cut it out, you've got your maximum pressure. All right? Aaron, you could write down later. It's on your book anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's on your book. All right. Now, that is the cutout, maximum pressure. Then here is your cut in. Cut in is when you depress your foot brake, the governor says, all right, you lose pressure. Remember, whenever you press your foot brake, you will lose air or pressure in your system. But the governor does is, oh, let me help you out to build up again. That's what the governor does. So it's going to be cut out, cut in. All right? So while you're on the road, you got your pressure max, but when you depress your foot brake, governor will help him out to build it up again. So it's going to be cut out, cut in, cut out, cut in. That's all he does. All right? Next, please. Thank you very much. Yes?
Air storage tanks. Air storage tanks are used to hold compressed air. The number and size of air tanks varies among vehicles. The tanks will hold enough air to allow the brakes to be used several times even if the compressor stops working.
Okay. Next, please.
Air tanks drains. Compressed air usually has some water and some compressor oil in it, which is bad for the air brake system. For example, the water can freeze in cold weather and cause brake failure. Be sure that you drain the air tanks completely, either by turning the drain valve or pulling the wire cable at the end of each day.
Okay, there is a wire on your tanks. What you do is drain this every day. All right, now, there are newer trucks that they are automatic drain. right? But there's still cable that you could drain them anyway because it accumulates water on the tanks. Yes,
Do you do that before you
it's after.
start it on or after?
It's after.
When you get in the park,
It's after.
Okay.
Once, let's say you're done with the day, all right, here you go. You're gonna do some post-trip inspection anyway, all right? Then go drain them, all right? Next, please.
The brake pedal. You apply the brakes by pushing down on the brake pedal. The harder you push, the more air pressure is applied. Releasing the brakes allows some compressed air to go out of the system, so the air pressure in the tanks are reduced. It must be made up by the air compressor. Pressing and releasing the brakes unnecessarily lets air out faster than the compressor can push.
Okay, can replace it. So it means that don't pump it unnecessarily. If you don't need it, don't do it. Because what happened was if you lose 20 psi and your compressor could only accommodate 5 psi in 5 seconds, you will lose a lot of pressure. Right? Next, please.
Brake drum, shoes, and linings. To stop, the brake shoes and linings are pushed against the inside of the drum. This causes friction, which slows the vehicle and creates heat. The heat a drum can take without damage depends on how hard and how long the brakes are used. Too much heat can cause brake fade or brake failure.
Okay. Next, please. Now, this is what we have in our truck. We don't use a disc brake, just like our car. We have the drum. Okay, we got the shoe, the lining. This is what they call the S-can. All right? To your slack adjuster, to the push rod, and then the chamber. Again, I'm going to show you this, guys. All right? All these parts. Next, please.
Supply pressure gauges. All air brake vehicles have a pressure gauge connected to the air tank. These gauges tell you how much pressure is in the air tank.
Okay. These are your pressure gauges. You have your 1 and 2. Means you got your primary gauge and secondary gauge. All right? Next, please. All right? What's next?
Low air pressure warning. Low pressure warning signals are required for all vehicles using air brakes. A warning signal you can see and hear will come on when the air pressure in the air tanks fall between 75 and 55 psi or before 60 psi. The warning is a red dash light and a buzzer may come on.
Okay. Now let me go back to the cutout. Remember, the cutout is 125 or no more than 130 psi. That's the maximum pressure. But when you do pressure, you should cut in or build up before 85 psi. Now, this here is when your pressure drops around between 75 and 50 psi, there's a light or a buzzer sound that you will hear on your dashboard. It's an annoying sound. It's like a big fly, all right? So it means that you have a low pressure in your system. All right, next please. All right.
Spring brakes.
Okay.
When driving, powerful brake springs are being held back by air pressure. If the air pressure is removed, the springs put on the brakes. The parking brake controls in the cab allows the driver to quickly release enough air to allow the spring brakes to hold a loaded vehicle parked on hill. Keep in mind the spring brakes will come on when the air pressure drops to a range of 45 to 20 psi.
Okay. Go, sorry.
The braking power of a spring brake depends on proper adjustment.
All right, now. Okay. When the low pressure drops down 75 to 55, correct? That's the low air warning. But if you ignore